So when we do this reaction, we can use just one equivalent of alkyl lithium and butyl lithium as secondary butyl. But in case of tertiary butyl lithium, if we are using tertiary butyl lithium in this process, we must use two equivalents. In case of tertiary butyl lithium, two equivalents are required. So one equivalent will be for this purpose, so this is fine. But what we will do with another equivalent, so that I can. What is the byproduct here? Byproduct is n-butyl iodide. In case of tertiary butyl lithium, it will be tertiary butyl iodide. When tertiary butyl iodide is there, when tertiary butyl, one more tertiary butyl lithium, what it will do? It will generate an alkene. It will generate an alkene. Yeah, I can see some more people using their video on. Please put your video off. Okay, please put your video off. Everyone, please don't turn on your video. Your video must be off. Your video must be off. I don't know whether you are listening or not. Okay, you must keep your video off. Right. So this tertiary butyl anion will take this proton. So, yeah, it is just a dehydrohallucination. When we have haloalkane and when we treat with a strong base, what happens? It generates an alkene, right? So it is the same reaction. Tertiary butyl anion will take this proton. So sorry, it, the bonding electrons will be polarized to form a carbon-carbon double bond. Then iodide will be leaving. So what we are generating an alkene. We are generating an alkene plus tertiary butane plus iodide. Lithium. If it is tertiary butyl lithium, it will be. So because it generates isopropene, because it generates isobutene, we must use two equivalents of tertiary butyl lithium in this reaction. And I'd like to tell you one more point. So far what we have discussed, we are discussing the epoxidation reactions. We are discussing the epoxidation reaction. If an epoxide is there and if we give a nucleophile, additional nucleophile, then that additional nucleophile will attack an epoxide. So epoxidation ring opening takes place. Okay. Then how do we open the epoxide ring? Of course, in normal cases we can expect them, but in case of six-membered rings, in case of six-membered rings, for example, say if epoxide is like this, say if it is above the plane, if it is above the plane, or if it is below the plane, and when we treat this fellow with a nucleophile, then how the epoxide will open. For example, if we treat this epoxide with methyl lithium, what is the product? Now, what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is what is the stereochemistry of the product. Okay, right. So when we have six-membered rings, we must explain the stereochemistry using chair transition state, chair conformation. Since it is above the plane, epoxide will be like this. Of course, the tertiary butyl group must always be in equatorial position. We cannot, whether it is given the stereochemistry or not, it doesn't matter. We must always keep the tertiary butyl group or isopropyl group at equatorial position because it is a highly sterically crowded alkyl group. So we cannot have it in an axial position. Okay, with the tertiary butyl group at axial position, it is not possible. Right. When we treat this fellow with methyl lithium, then this methyl anion will attack on one of the carbon. So from which carbon a methyl will attack? Either from this carbon or this carbon. I'll give you one simple logic. When you want to ring open the epoxide on a six-membered ring, the product should be diaxial. The product should be diaxial. That means if you open the ring by attacking methyl group on this carbon, that means what we are getting. So epoxide will be leaving that. So OH will be axial. Since methyl is coming from below the plane, methyl will be axial. So when you want to open an epoxide in a six-membered ring, epoxide on a six-membered ring, then the resulting product should be diaxial. It should be diaxial ring opening. So we will get a trans product. Of course, in epoxy ring opening, we will get a trans product only. But on the six-membered epoxide, six-membered ring, if epoxide is there, it must be opened. The product should be diaxial. Okay, when the epoxide is open, the product should be diaxial. Of course, you can write it in a planar form, right? So OH will be above the plane, methyl will be below the plane. Similarly, we can explain for this also. Similarly, we can explain for this also. So tertiary butyl group, since it is below the plane, we will write like this. When we add methyl group, it should be diaxial. Since it is below the plane, this oxygen, oxygen bonded to this carbon, it is axial, but this bond is equatorial. Okay. So since it is axial, we cannot, the methyl group cannot approach from the below the plane. It can approach from above the plane. When it is approaching from above the plane, yes, it is a axial position. It is axial position. When it is approaching from below the plane for this, yes, it is approaching from the axial position. So we will get a diaxial product. We will get a diaxial product. Epoxide will be below the plane, methyl group will be above the plane. So this is axial, this is also axial. So we are getting a diaxial product. We are getting a diaxial product. Of course, it is a trans diaxial. So when you want to open the epoxide on a six-membered ring, we must explain the ring opening using chair conformation. The product should be diaxial. The product should be diaxial. That means methyl nucleophile should be in the axial position. OH should be in the axial position. Of course, when we have more substituents on axial position, they are unstable. But what we can do, we can go for ring flipping. So product will form like this. Then it will undergo ring flipping if it is possible. Okay. But when we want to open it, it should be diaxial product. So when you convert this to planar form, OH will be below the plane, methyl will be above the plane. So this is how we can predict the products when we open an epoxide. Please take a snapshot. I'm changing this. Next, we will discuss about sharp plus asymmetric epoxy. Discuss about sharp plus asymmetric epoxidation. Sharp plus asymmetric epoxidation. It is generally called as SAE. Sharp plus asymmetric epoxidation is again an important functional group transformation, or we can say epoxidation reaction in organic synthesis. What is sharp plus asymmetric epoxidation? Sharp plus asymmetric epoxidation is the asymmetric epoxidation of allylic alcohols. Asymmetric epoxidation of allylic alcohols. It means the product will be chiral. Product will be chiral. Okay. Right. What are the reagents? The reagents are tertiary butyl hydroperoxide, then diethyl tartrate, titanium tetraisopropoxide. This is the solvent, and we will do it low temperatures. So the epoxidizing agent is tertiary butyl hydroperoxide. DET and titanium tetraisopropoxide, they will provide asymmetric environment. They will provide asymmetric environment. Okay, so the overall reaction is asymmetric epoxidation. So here we will get only one product. So here there is no major product, minor product. We will get only single product. Only one ionomer will be formed as the product. So this is a single enantiomer, single enantiomeric epoxide generation. We will explain the reagents one by one. What is titanium tetraisopropoxide? Titanium tetraisopropoxide. Of course, we know this, right? So this is titanium tetraisopropoxide. Titanium tetraisopropoxide. Titanium tetraisopropoxide. It is diethyl tartrate. If the two are carboxylic acids, it is called tartaric acid. If they are esters, diethyl tartrate. Diethyl tartrate. So these two will form a complex and they will provide the asymmetric environment here. Diethyl tartrate. So here we will have plus DET and minus DET. We will have plus DET and minus DET. So they will complex with the titanium. So that gives a chiral environment. I hope you are writing along with me, right? So for this sharp plus Katsuki is again a chiral epoxidation. So both of them were given Nobel Prize in 2001. So for the asymmetric epoxidation, Sharpless and Katsuki were given 2001 Chemistry Nobel Prize. have any doubt, please ask me. Otherwise, please don't turn on your microphone. What is sharpless asymmetric epoxidation? So it is prochiral allylic alcohols. What is prochiral? The product is chiral. Though it is not chiral, the product is chiral. So before to chiral, it is a chiral. So this is called prochiral. That means the prochiral will be converted to chiral. So prochiral allylic alcohols, if it is converted to chiral, then we can say it is a prochiral. Prochiral means it is not a different chirality. Okay, it is not a chiral center. Prochiral means the compound is not chiral, but it will be converted to chiral in a reaction. So that's what it means, prochiral. Prochiral allylic alcohols are epoxidized in the presence of prochiral allylic alcohols are epoxidized in the presence of tertiary butyl hydroperoxide, titanium tetraisopropoxide, and DET. We will use plus DET or minus DET with high regio and stereo selectivity with high regio and stereo selectivity to produce corresponding optically active epoxy. Optically active epoxy. Optically active epoxides. Prochiral alcohols are epoxidized in the presence of tertiary butyl hydroperoxide, titanium tetraisopropoxide, and DET with high regio and stereo selectivity to produce corresponding optically active epoxide. I'll give how the chiral environment will be generated here. I'll give the chiral environment. First, DET and titanium tetraisopropoxide, they will form a dimeric complex. So that dimeric complex will create the chiral environment. So titanium will be in octahedral geometry here. Titanium will be octahedral geometry. Titanium will be in octahedral geometry. So this is octet. Okay. So this ethyl ester. So this ethyl ester, I am simply representing it with the E. Okay. So one side, the diethyl tartrate will form a complex with titanium. On the other side, we will have isopropyl alcohol. At the same time, we can also have isopropanol, and then the sixth coordinate, it is satisfied by this carbonyl oxygen. Okay, so now you can see titanium is having octahedral geometry. Titanium is having octahedral geometry. As I said, it generates a dimeric complex. It generates a dimeric complex. So this titanium will also bind to this it will also bind to this. So this will be one side it is diethyl tartrate, other side it is isopropyl alcohol. Here it is reverse. Other side it is diethyl tartrate. This side it is isopropyl alcohol. This side it is isopropyl alcohol. Other side it is diethyl tartrate. Other side it is diethyl tartrate. Again, one ester group I am representing with E. Sorry, one ester group I am representing with E. Other ester group I am representing completely, so that the sixth coordination is satisfied with the carbonyl oxygen. The sixth coordination is satisfied with the carbonyl oxygen. Okay. When we add allyl alcohol and tertiary butyl hydroperoxide, then allyl alcohol and tertiary butyl hydroperoxide will attack on titanium. These two isopropyl groups will be leaving. These two isopropyl groups will be leaving. So the complex as it is, we need to redraw it. I'll just try this. So what happens? The complex is as it is. So this is E, this is carbonyl OET. So we need to redraw it. What happens? Here it is allyl alcohol. This is tertiary butyl hydroperoxide. This is tertiary butyl hydroperoxide. So this oxygen must be placed near to double bond so that it will undergo epoxidation. And the other side, yes, it is the same. Other side there is no change. Okay. Other side there is no change. Other side there is no change. OET. So this sixth coordinate is satisfied with this. So titanium and the DET, they will form a dimeric intermediate complex, a dimeric complex. So this is the intermediate. Now this will do, then this allylic double bond will undergo epoxidation stereospecifically. Okay. You can take it. So only allylic alcohol gets epoxidized. If it is homoallylic alcohol or something else, no, it is not possible to epoxidize using SAE conditions. Okay, so only allylic alcohols, the double bond of the allylic alcohol will undergo epoxidation because in this complex structure, this double bond will be placed near to oxygen. If it is homoallylic or even higher analogs, it is not possible to properly place the double bond and oxygen together. So then it is difficult for the oxygen transfer to the double bond. Okay. You take this, I'll give examples for sharpless asymmetric epoxidation. This complex we can try one or two times so that we can easily dry it. It's not a problem. Even if you can't dry it, it is not going to be any problem. Okay, just take a snapshot. Drawing it, or yeah, it's not going to affect your subject. If you try it, you will be confident. Otherwise, even it is not a problem. Yeah, just take a snapshot. I will explain the problems on the SAE conditions. Then you can, yeah, please take a snapshot. Right. So, how to predict the stereochemistry of SAE epoxidation? There is a shortcut for this. We can easily predict the products. What we need to do, place the double bond vertically, then place the alcohol right side. Of course, you may have different substituents. It doesn't matter for us. What we need to do, alcohol should be right side, to the double bond. Alcohol should be right side to the double bond. Then, what is the product of epoxidation? When we use minus DET, when we use minus DET and alcohol is right side to the double bond, okay, then the product is above the plane, epoxide above the plane. Epoxidation takes place above the plane. Epoxidation takes place above the plane. Okay. So for that one, what we need to have, double bond should be vertical. Then place the hydroxy alcohol right side. So if we use minus DET, epoxidation takes place at beta phase. If we use plus DET, then epoxidation takes place at alpha phase. Epoxidation takes place at alpha phase. That means below the plane. So this is the shortcut. You must understand this. Okay. So for predicting SAE products, first we must put the double bond vertically. Then alcohol should be right side to the double bond. When alcohol is right side to the double bond, Then minus DET will give epoxide in the above the plane, plus DET will give epoxide in below the plane. Epoxide will give below the plane. So this is the only shortcut. With this shortcut, we can easily predict the products. Okay. What if the alcohol is left side to the double bond? It is entirely reverse. Okay, so that is why I'm not going to teach you the left side. Okay, if alcohol is left side to the double bond, minus DET will give epoxide in below the plane, plus DET will give epoxide above the plane. So you just take it as a reverse condition. Okay, so we don't need to write again the alcohol on left side, and no, we don't need, right? So remember, alkene must be vertical, alcohol should be right side. Then minus DET will give epoxide above the plane, plus DET will give epoxide below the plane. I'll just explain three examples. You don't need to learn much. Okay, so this is the only shortcut. If you know that whatever the molecule allylic alcohol it is, we can easily predict the product. There were many questions on SAE conditions in CSR gate. Okay. I think you have written this, so I'm showing the problems. Then, if you are given the problems of SAE on SAE, then how to predict the product? It is very simple. What we need to know first, the alkene should be vertical. If it is vertical, then decide whether the alcohol is left side or right side. Yeah, for this molecule, there is no problem. The alkene is straight away, it looks like vertical, and the alcohol is right side. So when we use minus DET, sorry, plus DET will give epoxide below the plane. Plus DET will give epoxide below the plane. So we don't look for anything. Okay, we can straight away write the product. Alcohol or alkene is vertical, alcohol is right side. We used plus DET, so epoxide is below that. Whereas here, yeah, alkene is not vertical. Then it is difficult for us to predict whether this gives a epoxide in above the plane or below the plane. For that, what we need to do, you just turn your page in such a way that now the double bond is vertical. Just turn the page. Don't do anything. Just turn the page. The double bond is vertical. Now we can easily predict whether the alcohol is left side or right side. Alcohol is left side. That means we need to have reverse products. If alcohol is right side, minus DET will give above the plane. Since alcohol is left side, minus DET will give below the plane. So that is what we need to get. Okay. So if it is direct, like in this case, yeah, take it straight away. But if the alkene is not vertical, then what we need to do, just turn your page so that make the alkene vertical. Alcohol should be below, not above the, okay? Don't turn in a reverse direction. Reverse direction where you are getting alcohol above, okay? It's not like that. Alcohol should be below. So that means you turn this like this, so that double bond becomes vertical, then alcohol will be below. So whether it is left side or right side, we can easily predict. Since alcohol is left side and minus DET we are using, if it is right side, minus DET will give above the plane. Since it is left side, minus DET will give below the plane. So I'm not going to write the products.